design and conduct my own UX research projects on the side. Definitely not senior by any means. I mean, I've been teaching myself a lot of UX, principles, just to build on my fundamental research background that I've gathered in my previous roles and my current role. So yeah, just like you said, just applying to junior associate roles that I can find online.
Wonderful. So it sounds like you're more of a research specialist and you might not be someone who wants to do wireframes.
Yeah, I've really just been, the big thing I've been sticking with is like survey design, usability testing, trying to practice like my interview skills, things like that. So it's more of like getting out there, reaching people that are actually using things. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so, you said you came from more of an academic research side. Which
Right.
aspects of that do you feel best translate into your UX work?
The screening work I thought was really pivotal to the research. You want to get your population right. So in terms of, screening for, designing surveys, making sure I'm asking the right questions during interviews, inclusion, exclusion criteria, those were things that were pretty tricky to come up with in the beginning, but it's something that after, a few studies that I was working on, I kind of was able to nail down. In terms of the actual tasks and stuff, that's usually up to like a PI, principal investigator. So that wasn't really what I'm kind of like dealing with, but in terms of like getting to know the people that are involved in the research, that was something that quickly, I think, became my forte.
And what made you want to move into UX research from the things you've been doing?
Well, so academic research can be pretty slow. Typically takes a few years to get things really off the ground and running. Even to get things approved, I thought was taking a lot of time. And I kind of liked how UX research seems really fast paced. It seems like you test, you retest, you iterate constantly. It just seems like it's a big process like that. So I just thought that to be working on things that people are actually using every day would be really important to me. And I thought that, I getting a glimpse into somebody else's perspective would be something cool that, I don't know. I like the blend of psychology and technology that UX research can provide. So I thought that was always pretty interesting. And I only found it maybe a year or so ago. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Welcome, welcome. So we still have another minute. So have you thought about what kind of job you're hoping to get? Like, is there a certain industry or a certain size company that you think you'd like to work for?
I haven't given that too much thought. It's mainly just been a role where I can really learn from somebody. I feel like I'd feel a lot of like imposter syndrome if I were to just jump into a role. But I do know that I'm learning a lot right now, and I feel like I still have a lot to learn, which I think is important to distinguish. So really something where I can just learn from somebody higher up than me that has more experience. I think that'd be something really great for me personally.
And have you been putting together a portfolio? Like, if someone sees this and reaches out to you, do you have
Yeah,
some
I'm currently
sample work
working
or?
on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the research studies that I do on my own, it's just a matter of getting participants. So I go out to like coffee shops and I put up a sign and just say, I'll
Not
buy your
this
coffee,
week.
just work with me. Yeah, not this week at all. Maybe not for the next month. But really just compiling the research that I gather from those studies that I'm doing, just to try to get it presentable to a point where I can call that a portfolio. That is something that I'm working on. Yeah.
Okay, your 4 minutes are up. You made it.
Okay.
See, it wasn't
Great.
so bad. So, if people are curious about you, spell your name, tell people where they can
Yeah.
find you online, like either on LinkedIn or your own website. So, where can we find you?
So my name's spelled, my first name is Neeraj, Neeraj. My last name is Madivala, Madivala. My LinkedIn page is just my first name, a dash, my last name. My email is my first name, a period, and my last name at gmail.com. And so I'm going to be compiling the studies that I've been doing into either a Medium page or a WordPress page, which I'll attach to my LinkedIn and have like up and running so that people can just see what I'm up to.
Okay, great. Great to meet you. And it's going to be great to meet everybody today. You're all strangers to me. So thank you. I'm going to mute you and
Yeah,
turn off your
thanks for having me on.
video. You're welcome to hang up if you want, but great to meet you guys, you first. And thanks for joining. And our second person today, I'm going to unmute and try to turn on their video. And this is going to be Pawan. Did I say that
Hi.
correctly?
Yes, that was right.
All right, you tell everybody how to say it better. So again, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Give everybody your name, where you're based, if you've had a UX job yet, or what kind of work you're doing now, and anything else you want to tell us about your journey before I ask you some questions. So your time starts now.
Uh, yeah, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for the introduction and question. I am Pavan Arora, and I am from Toronto. And currently, I'm a freelance designer. So currently, I am working with one or two startups. I have so I come from a research background. So I was a market researcher before, and then after working for 2 years as a market researcher, I got interested in UX design while working with other UX researchers in that company. And then I totally transitioned into UX design. So currently, so I did a course in UX design for a year, and then after that, I got some internships. And currently, I'm looking for full-time opportunities while working as a freelancer. Um, yeah.
Great. Okay. And then, so which aspect or aspects of UX or user-centered design would you say you're strongest in?
I think since I have such a heavy research background, I'm great at interviewing people and understanding the pain points and talking with empathy. But what I would want to stress is that I am equally great at creating designs, and I have a very good I have a knack for motion design. So I love animation and stuff like that, which I'm learning since the past few months since I've been freelancing. Been working on that, creating some small animations to improve my skills.
Okay, super. You talked about being at a job where you were more in the market research side, but you were learning from some UX researchers. During that job, did you get to kind of cross into UX and start doing a little bit of work with those people?
Yes, yes. So I did get a taste of it. So creating user plans and market plans together. I did get a taste of it, and that is what completely changed my mind. I think I remember once I sat into a usability testing phase with other UX researchers and designers, and that's when I saw, okay, what is UX all about? Getting feedback from the customers and being the voice of users, and that is what completely changed my mind.
And then
So
for your freelance projects, you may not be able to name the companies, but what kinds of projects are you doing? Like, is there a certain industry they're in, or what kind of work are you doing?
so currently I'm working with basically small startups, and basically so that's an e-commerce company, upcoming e-commerce company, and basically what I'm doing is I'm building their design systems and helping them create designing their iOS app. So yeah, I've been working on that. It's been almost 2 months, and yeah, probably finish in a month or two.
Is that interaction design and visual design?
Yes.
Okay. And then what tools do you tend to use for that?
Basically, what I prefer is Sketch and Principle
Mhm.
because that combination works for me very well. But recently, I've been working on Figma too, which I love because it's an online tool. So yeah, either Sketch or Principle or Figma or Principle for designing and prototyping.
Yeah, and once you know those, you can learn lots of other ones. So I'm
Yes.
I'm not hung up on tools. I was just curious what you were using. You've
Sure.
got 15 seconds left, and I'm semi out of questions. Anything else you want to add about yourself?
Um, I would, if anybody is interested, I would love to talk to them, or if you can reach out to me. So you can spell my name as PAWAN ARORA, and you can find me on LinkedIn by Pavan Arora One, and my email address is pavanarorauxd@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Instagram at ux_PA and the number one. So
All
yeah,
right.
please reach out to me.
That was a whole list of things. Everyone's going to find you everywhere. Stalk this guy. So I'm going to mute you and turn off your video, but thanks so much for joining. It was great to meet you. Good luck with everything. And just going to stop your video so that we've got one person going at a time. And next on our list is Abraham. So I'm going to unmute you. And by now, you know the rules. Let's see. Let's wait for you to start your video. There you are. Okay, super. So as I've mentioned, Abraham, please tell us your name, where you're based, if you've had a UX job yet, and I think you just did some UX education, so we'll all want to hear about that. And please introduce yourself. Your timer starts now.
Absolutely. My name is Abraham, and I just graduated from The Ohio State University with a major in communications, which I focused on human-computer interaction. And prior to that, I served in the Air Force for about 6 years. Active duty. And so I haven't had a UX job. I am actually currently searching, and I'm based in Florida right now, but I'm open, of course, to relocating anywhere for the perfect opportunity. And pretty much.
So what made you decide to get into UX? Because it said, did you really just jump from Air Force to Ohio State, or?
Actually, yes, I jumped to Air Force to Ohio State, but I originally was a different major initially. And I got introduced to UX by accident because I went to a guidance counselor at the school, that kind of like career counselor, actually, I should say. And they had introduced me the major because they overheard me talking a bunch about technology, like wearables and all the stuff I was keeping up with. And so she suggested, why don't you try out, this major, human computer interaction. And ever since that, I loved it, every little bit of it.
What's your favorite aspect of it?
I definitely focus a lot on research, and I did a little bit of design, but the research part is because I love people and love knowing, how they use technology. I even watch my mom, like how she operates a smartphone, and I love seeing how different people like interact with technology and how it can, help them. And sometimes it can hurt them too, but.
Let's not go there.
Right.
It's too upsetting.
Right.
What else was I going to ask you? So, you haven't had your first job yet. Have you thought about what a first, obviously maybe not future dream job, but your first dream job might be? Any particular company size, any industry that you particularly dream of?
I am open to big or small. But definitely I want a place that I can learn, like be mentored pretty well and then grow my skills. So I guess I would say a bigger corporation because, they'll have more, established, they'll be more established, more people, different perspectives on things. And so I can be able to learn. And in that way I can help, eventually go to a smaller company and help them grow in the UX and their UX department.
Now, this question may have a negative answer, so don't feel like you have to make something up. But do you feel that anything you did in the Air Force would translate to UX work? Maybe
I would
it's
say
no.
No, I'd say the usability. The job I had, the usability, like we did a lot of testing, and so a lot of it it does translate a little bit because a lot of times the equipment that I maintained, other people didn't use it as well. So that's where the actual, me monitoring, seeing someone use a piece of equipment. And then I would say, that may not be the best way that you're supposed to use it, or maybe I see them make the mistake, and that way you can suggest changes from there. Now we couldn't directly change it ourselves, but it kind of translated a little bit.
So it sounds like your strength is really observing people.
Yes.
You are the people watcher.
Yes, I am.
Let's see. What else was I going to ask you? Any other key strengths you feel you have, either in work you feel you're able to do or something about your personality?
I do love like being involved with the product development process, like, seeing how a piece of technology starts, how it could be changed, testing stuff. I'm very tech savvy. So I like to, it's one of my biggest strengths. So yeah, I love figuring out new problems, testing something, saying, hey, this is what I noticed. I've done it for a couple people already, for a couple of companies a little bit. I'm just kind of like by reaching out to them.
Excellent. Now, unfortunately, your time is up. See how fast 4 minutes can go? Obviously, before we throw you out, spell your name for everybody. Tell them where they can find you on LinkedIn or your email or your website so that everyone can track you down.
Absolutely. My LinkedIn, my name is Abraham, Abraham, space Bogere. I'm on LinkedIn and I have a portfolio, which is www.abogere.com. And then I'm on, my email is abebogere@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm on pretty much every social media page you can get.
Find this man. Okay,
Thank you.
well, great to meet you too, and keep in touch. And I'm going to mute you and turn off your camera, but good luck.
Thank you.
See, pressing the buttons, pressing them wrong. Hold on a second. Okay, muted. That's Abraham. Next is Sarah. Let's unmute Sarah and make her turn on her camera. And Sarah, you probably figured out by now how this works. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Where are you based? If you've had any kind of UX job or work yet, and anything else you want to mention in introducing yourself. And your timer starts now.
Hi, thank you for the intro. My name is Sarah Jew. I am based in Richmond, Virginia, but I'm like looking for either like contract or full-time work, just pretty much anywhere. I'm open to relocation, and right now I've kind of been, I guess I would call myself like a freelance designer right now. I've been like contacted for some more like graphic design roles, but of course, like I'm more interested in like UX design or product design roles for sure. But it's been fun. Like currently like working with a local church and like helping them with like graphic design or like I guess like problems that they have when it comes to like more like techie and visual design problems.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a strong graphic or visual design background. And so how did you get into UX?
Yeah, I heard about like UX design a few years ago, so it was kind of always in the back of my mind. But I really like in my last job, it didn't relate to like UX design at all. But I had an opportunity to like help my company like boost morale and stuff like that, like through like event, like designing event emails and like promoting those. And like being able to like work together with a few of like my team members. I just like love that a lot. And I think part of just like working in like a different roles, I love being able to like solve problems and just like be helpful and like provide like value. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Okay. And have you had any UX education, or have you been and anything you've been studying that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I spent like almost a year at a UX boot camp. So I learned like so much so fast about like UX, more like product design and like working on projects where I kind of like led the whole design process from, I guess, like the like early like concept to creating like the actual product, including like deliverables. So I really enjoyed that.
So thinking about the spectrum of stuff that can go on in a UX project, from research to architecture to interaction design to testing and visual design, where along that spectrum would you say are your strengths?
Well, coming from like a pre-med background, I really like learning about like people and like how people think. So I found like user like research and like that discovery process like really fascinating. And like I guess that kind of like incorporates like a little bit of like interaction design too, like figuring out like the best like layouts and like placements to help like improve like usability. So but yeah, I found like I guess like learning about people and like what like their problems are and how to like figure out like ways to like solve problems for them is one of my strengths.
Okay, great. We've got about 30 seconds left. So let me see if there's any other questions I can throw at you. Did I ask you what made you want to work in UX?
Yes.
Sorry. Well, then I'll give you 8 seconds back because I couldn't think of a question. So with 30 seconds back on the clock, what else would you like to tell everybody about yourself?
Well, Well, I guess you didn't really ask me, and I noticed you asked this for some people, like what I'm like looking for is like
Oh,
company.
yes, I forgot. You're right. That's a great
Yeah.
question.
Um,
Then we give you extra time. What kind of job are
Yeah.
you looking for? Company size and industry and things like that. Things like that.
Yeah, I'm looking, I mean, like I said, like UX designer, like product design role, and really, I would love a company where like UX design is like valued and has like been, I guess, has like somewhat of a foothold in the company and some autonomy. So I know that like with that, there will be designers there who have experience where I can get mentorship and I guess like also I don't know, like being able to have a voice would be like really, really great.
I agree. Hard to find.
Yeah.
So sorry I messed up your question, but I think we got you back to the full 4 minutes. So take some time and tell everybody, spell your name, tell them how to find you on LinkedIn, email, website, wherever we can find you.
Sure. I have a portfolio website where you can contact me with my LinkedIn email, everything, and my resume is on there as well. It is sarahjoo.design. It's spelled SARAHJOO.design. You can also email me at sjoo designs@gmail.com. And yeah, my LinkedIn is also just my name, Sarah Jew. So you can find me there.
Okay, super. Great to meet you. Good luck. And thanks for your time. Your 4 minutes is up, but I'm going to mute you and turn off your video. You can hang out or you can hang up to you. But thanks again. And remember to share this out so people meet new people. We've got 2 more people to go. We've got Nabil and then Martha. So let's unmute our next adventure. Mr. Prepared. Let's see. Okay, there you are. All right, you know the drill. So please introduce yourself. Where are you? What do you want us to know about you? And your timer starts now.
Hi, my name's Nabil. I am a UX designer based out of Houston, Texas. So so I've been I've been in UX design for 2 years, and the kind of job that I'm looking for is hopefully remote. I love working remote. I am more productive that way, but I would like to stay in Houston because I am trying to grow a design community and I want to be as close to new designers as possible. So I would like my job to be either remote or in Houston.
Okay, so you said you've already been getting some work in UX. Is it a full-time job or freelancing that you're doing right now?
So for the past 2 years, I have done UX design at my own tech startup and as an intern, but
Okay.
I have not had a full-time job as a UX designer.
Okay, that's the goal. Okay, so how did you get into UX? Was there something you were doing before? Did you study it somewhere? Tell us your story.
So I have a computer science degree from the University of Houston. And I didn't like computer science because all the stuff that we were doing, I didn't understand who it was intended for, like who's actually going to use this. In my database class, we for the first time we were introduced to the fact, you have to think about who's going to use the database. So that was sort of my first introduction into thinking about the user. From there, I started learning front end web development, co-founded a startup, went through a startup accelerator, and took over the design from the graphic designer, and overall built the entire product, did the user research, did the usability testing, and that's how I sort of gained experience. And from there, I used whatever I had learned to apply for an internship at a local company called HCSS. It's a software company, and I was able to very luckily get the internship. At the time there were only three companies total in Houston offering internships, so I was very, very lucky. And when I got the internship, it was like an eye opener. I learned about like UX design in the real world. I did a lot of user research, a lot of like design. I was able to work with a UX team. All the team of designers were amazing. They were sort of like a mentor to me. They taught me about what are some of the great things about, like what I should focus on if I want to be a good designer. And from there, I had the opportunity to also run like design reviews and kick off design meetings and working with stakeholders. We did that, I think, 2 or 3 times a week, where we would like design and we would then show it to stakeholders, get their feedback, go back, analyze, and then make changes, and then go back to the stakeholders to say, hey, what do you guys think? And then that would continue. I also had an amazing experience working with a partner, another UX intern at HCSS. So Isabel and she came in with a UX research background, and I didn't have that sort of like a research background. So I was able to learn a lot from her. So we did like customer journey mapping, heuristic analysis on like an iPad application to really understand, okay, these are some of the issues that we're seeing as designers. And then we took that data and we talked with our users. So our users were construction workers and we didn't have access to them. What we did have access to are user proxies. These are the customer support specialists at the company. So we were able to like take all the, we interviewed them. We found out, okay, so these were some of the customer issues. These are some of the complaints that we're getting, and we matched it up with our analysis and the data, and we sort of crossed it, and we figured out, okay, so these are some of the key areas that the software needs to be improved on. We then
I'm going to have to interrupt you. Your 4 minutes are up.
Oh,
I am so sorry. See how fast 4 minutes can be?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I have to interrupt you. Seems impolite, but that's the rules here. So now just tell everybody how and where they can find you around the interwebs.
So you can find me on Twitter. That's where I'm mostly active on. And if you're looking at Zoom, and you can see my name at the bottom, MD Nabil Ahsan. That is my Twitter handle as well. And I don't know. Oh wait, it's reversed.
No, I'm seeing it correctly.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so yeah, it is MD Nabil Ahsan, and that's on Twitter.
Okay, so people interested in you should tweet at you. Okay, super. Then I'm going to mute you and turn off your video, but great to meet you. Good luck. Keep me posted on your adventures. And thanks for joining today on the speed dating. Finally, we've got Martha. Martha, thank you for your patience. I'm going to unmute you and request you to start your video. And let's see, unmute. That should be working. Martha, you with us?
I am. Are you with me?
I am. Thank you so
Cool.
much for being patient and being last on the list, but I'm so glad you're here. So you probably have seen by now how this works. So please start by introducing yourself with your name and where you're located, and if you've had any UX work so far, and your timer starts now.
I'm Martha Vandermeulen, and I'm located in Chicago, Illinois. Unfortunately, I do not have the ability to relocate, so I just want to put that out there. So I'm either in Chicago or remote. So I started my career as a print designer, and then I moved into learning HTML and CSS, and I became responsible for my company's marketing emails. That led me to a position as a web designer on a UX team within corporate marketing within a big financial institution. Unfortunately, because we were in marketing, it wasn't very product oriented, and the UX process, the UX things that we did were limited, very small. It was a large focus on visual design and making HTML edits. So unfortunately, in the end of 2018, they had a lot of layoffs, including me. So it happens.
Yeah.
So I enrolled in a UX boot camp for the year of 2019, redid my portfolio, picked up a couple freelance projects. I'm currently freelancing right now for Chicago Public Schools as a UI designer. And I am ready for my UX opportunity, whatever that might be.
Okay, great. Congratulations. So let me ask you this. So obviously you have a very strong graphic and visual design background, but you did the UX bootcamp last year, and you've done a couple of things that tend to orbit UX, like web design and email design and things like that. So tell me, when you think about the spectrum of UX, from research to architecture to interaction design to testing, which of those things do you feel are your strengths?
I think architecture, I really certainly visual design, of course, but I'm really interested in architecture because it's there where you really solve the organizational issues of whatever you're working on.
And do you have any particular, I don't know if you did this in your boot camp or your freelancing, is there any particular information architecture tools or research or testing that you've been able to use?
Not as of yet.
Not yet.
I've used Optimal Workshop.
Love them.
Yeah, I know. I've used Usability Hub. I use Sketch and InVision, all things Adobe, Figma. Yeah.
Okay, so thinking about that first UX dream job, do you have other than you're not moving, do you have a particular company size or industry that you would prefer?
No, I'm wide open. I want to keep all my options out there. I spent 20 years in financial services. I've freelanced for small companies, small design firms. I have a strong interest in healthcare, but I'm not limited to that. I'm especially interested in all things tech. So wide open.
Wide open indeed. Okay. And now with all of those years in graphic and print design, what originally sparked you to shift into the world of UX?
UX picked me. It did. So after I became sort of the email guru in my department, they made me a web designer on a UX team, and that is where we began to implement UX within marketing. So that's where I got my introduction to it and learned about it and thought, where has this been all my life, right?
Right. It would have made everything so much better.
Seriously, as a designer, it just explains everything. So
well, great. Believe it or not, our 4 minutes are up. Can you believe that? I know you waited all that time for this. So please spell your name for everybody and let them know where on the interwebs can they find you or see a portfolio or something like that.
I do have a portfolio. My site is Martha, M-A-R-T-H-A, Vandermeulen, VANDERMEULEN.design.
Got it. Great. And I'm sure people can find you on LinkedIn too.
Same name on LinkedIn. You got it.
It's find that name, spell it and find it. So I will mute you and turn off your camera. Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Keep me posted on your adventures. Don't forget to share this out on LinkedIn so people can meet all the peeps. Guys, that wraps it up for our UX Job Speed Dating 3rd edition. And if I do future editions, I have not decided yet. But please share out the whole playlist on YouTube. So again, go to our YouTube channel at deltacx.tv. That'll dump you in our YouTube channel. Go to playlists, find Job Speed Dating, and please share out the playlist so that people can meet the mid-levels and seniors that we met for the last 2 weeks, as well as today's juniors and newbies. And let's see if we can get some people some jobs right now, even though the market is a little bit tough. So thanks to the people who joined us today. We met 6 people today. I hope they'll keep in touch with me and tell me how things are going. Everybody else, stay healthy, stay safe. And as for program notes, let's see what's coming up in the world of Delta CX live streams. That's our last live stream for today, but we've got 2 next week. Please join us next week. Tuesday will be office hours at 6:15 p.m. Italy time. Check your clocks because daylight savings has thrown things off. And Wednesday we'll be doing a live podcast with a new series called Our Customer, where we will meet someone who does not work in CX and UX and hear about all the disasters of the terrible products and services that we have to release to a guy like him, and he deserves better. So join next week for those. Remember, office hours is Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks again to everybody joining, and see you around the Delta CX universe.